Martin Popoff from the Contrarians here with a little bit of a special show. I already did one show kind of based on this theme. You know, I did this book long time ago, Black Sabbath FAQ. I don't even know if it's in print anymore. I don't sell it anymore. It came out in 2011, so yeah, 14 years ago. But there were a few kind of cool top 20. In fact, we just did go check it out. We did the top 40 Black Sabbath rarities ranked, and that was a chapter in this book. And I want to look at another one in here, which is the what did we call it here exactly? The 20 most shockingly radio-friendly Black Sabbath songs. So these are ranked as well, and I'm going to go through them in reverse order. So these are the Black Sabbath songs that are the most commercial, the most radio friendly, the most accessible. And this is pre the 13 album. I think it's pre 13 album, this whole book. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But also so I don't even know if there would have been anything in from that album on here. It's debatable, of course. But anyways, take it for what it is, a fun list of the most non-doomy, non-proggy, non-doomy, non-murky, non-purely heavy metal Black Sabbath songs. Okay, so let's go through this. So number 20, I've got Digital Bitch, and I said, given the filthy production job foisted upon the Born Again, it's really hard to imagine any of these songs being played on the radio. Still, as would occur on the following record, Tony found himself with a lyricist who wasn't about to go for the usual Sabbath claptrap. So we got songs like Hotline and Trashed and Track at Hand Digital Bitch, which is your standard butt-shaking meat and potatoes metal song from the early 80s, something that could have shown up on a Rat or a Crew record with a bit more spit and polish. Plus, to the traditional metal fan, there's just something jarring and yes, commercial about seeing both the words digital and bitch in a Black Sabbath song title. Yeah, that always kind of bothered me, right? It's a little bit like LA Connection in on Rainbow's Long Live Rock and Roll, or even Long Live Rock and Roll on that, which, by the way, go check out our birthday episode of that. And also, by the way, you can get my 2 Black Sabbath books, the story of the band spread over 2 books, at martinpopoff.com. I still can supply these and sign them and send them out and all that stuff. So, okay. Number 19, we've got Time Machine. Granted, it's a stretch to say anything from the grim and sludgy Dehumanizer album was remotely radio-friendly, but Time Machine qualifies given its ties to the Wayne's World movie, as well as its hip swiveling beat amongst a career suicidal collection of dirgy numbers. Furthermore, it's blessed with a completely hooky, welcome, and well-reasoned chorus, which no doubt is the musical passage the largest cross-section of Sabbath fans could, when pressed, drag out and hum from this humdrum album. There's some good writing from your boy as well, right? Okay. Number 18, Back to Eden. Cross Purposes has a few annoyingly commercial tracks, but this one chafes in a few ways. 1, through its funky arch Aerosmith riff, 2, through its overtly melodic chorus, and 3, through the modulation come guitar solo time. Sure, the single was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and Dying for Love is a power ballad, but Back to Even just feels gratuitous. 17, Orchid. Yeah, I know it's dumb calling this 1.5 minute bit of instrumental acoustic crumpet commercial, but man, I bring it up because of all the clueless mainstream reviewers who used to waste words on these things, remarking how Sabbath had learned to write some lovely songs and have spread their gossamer wings beyond that nasty, loud acid rock they will surely be denouncing forthrightly once they really study James Taylor. In effect, these brief spots of chill out music, by virtue of being remarked upon beyond relative importance, become stealthy commercials embedded in these ancient print notices, drawing in unsuspecting fans of the Carpenters, and who knows, maybe even Karen and Good Richard themselves. Yeah, I mean, I love these things on that album, Embryo as well. I just that's my favorite of all the early Sabbath albums, is Master of Reality. 16, Looking for Today. Side 2 of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath seemed to most robustly support the argument many had of Sabbath going soft after 4 pretty uncompromising and hefty records. Looking for Today was indeed quite light. The guys offering up an almost southern rock pickin' chorus, and arguably also a verse that contained just a bit too much soul, all in the name of sophistication, stepping out, maturation. Yeah, that's the one people complained about quite a bit on that record, and then it clouded everybody's view of the whole record, saying, "Oh, they've lightened up, and Rick Wakeman's on here, and synthesizers, acoustic guitars, blah blah blah." 15, Angry Heart. Almost everything on Seventh Star feels radio friendly. Tony writing rootsy for Glenn's pipes and for his accessible boy girl lyrics. Angry Heart's a tough, bluesy number, although not as rote as Stranger to Love. Still, it's a 3-minute rocker that gets to the point immediately. As well, it gets very melodic for the chorus. All told, one could imagine this as a radio hit, like any number of Desperado Whitesnake anthems from that band's traditional and best mid-years. Okay. 14, Call of the Wild. The title is a tip off for this one. Tony Iommi getting about as close to a hair metal rocker melody as he's likely capable of conjuring. The year's right for hair, and Tony Martin, despite losing his, is suitably melodramatic as well. There's also a trendy sitar part, and come break time, muted Def Leppard picking. The dated and dry 80s production values support the above premise. Okay. 13, Feels Good to Me. This one's a power ballad that breaks wind from the conceptual nature of Tear. Iommi's chord changes are typically mournful, but Tony Martin's stadium rock pipes take it in a Whitesnake direction, while Cozy's big and boomy drums remind one of production travesties from the hair metal 80s. 12, Evil Woman. The commerciality of Black Sabbath's very first record slants in from a few directions. First off, it's a cover, demonstrating a willingness by the boys to be jerked around and given a song to do, conveniently with the publishing already owned by their new record company. Plus, lyrically, the song represents a softer version, a compromise of the satanic doom and gloom of much of the rest of the debut album. Last, the track is short and bouncy, not nearly glam happy or anything, but still quite accessible, even if down a downer rock path to perdition. And that's obviously not on all copies of that. But it's a Crow cover, right? 11, Turn Up the Night. That title sounds like something by a glam band, although coming out of Ronnie, it's wrapped in evil and mysticism, so fair enough. But dig into the song, and it's plainly prepared for partying as a second-rate Neon Nights. Plus, as much as I dig it, Tony's guitar solo here is all sugar and spice. 10, Paranoid. Not for the girls per se, but nonetheless, Paranoid was swift, curt, and molded to be single material. Not so much a light bit to be added to the oppressive album of the same name, but still something accessible. Plus, it didn't help that various UK journos harumphed about it, jealous of the quick success the Sabs found, fueled really by this first single. All told, it's a bit similar to the tale of Deep Purple's Never Before, as well as Black Knight. All right. 9, Psycho Man. Not that negative a factor in the mechanics of the appreciably heavy track lacking much hook. Nonetheless, Psycho Man was cobbled together quickly, somewhat as a test of the creative possibilities of a reformed Sab, but also as a shot at a single. The naff lyrical concept, however, seems cynically commercial, horror by boardroom, dumbed down by the common mob of knobs. Okay. 8, Never Say Die. Perhaps A Hard Road is the most obvious choice from the band's last album, with Ozzy, if one is to cast aspersions towards ear candy and other commercial panderings. But since the day Never Say Die came out, the title track has always sat off to the side as this hugely melodic, supercharged, incongruously speedy song of pop persuasion. And if we can squeeze in another form of commerciality and bow to current trends, it's a bit of a punk rocker as well. 7, The Illusion of Power. Brooding, third-rate warehouse of riffs Sabbath that it is, The Illusion of Power had no hope of being a hit, especially given Sabbath's waning lifeblood during these lost years. I only include it because, like Rush's Roll the Bones, the song includes a gratuitous rap. Here, Big Shot Ice-T providing some rhymes, blasphemy to Sabbath purists, and a pox and Paul over the whole album, which was produced bafflingly by Ice-T's partner in body count, Ernie C. Okay. Neon Nights, I've got it, number 6. Wow. I wanted to represent the Dio years, original years, because really so much of the band's material here felt less doomy, more willing to embrace the punters. Slipping Away is funky, Wishing Well is bouncy and melodic, Country Girl raised eyebrows because it was a bit of a love song, but really Neon Nights, for all its secure reputation, is quite up-tempo, melodic, party-hardy, and then there's that title, which includes both a pun and the jarringly modern word neon. Yes, that's how we analyzed the Sabbath situation back in 1980. Furrowed brows that there was something a little too non-doom about the songs and even the whole idea of the new shiny and efficient Sabbath with Ronnie. All right. On to our top 5. Spiral Architect. Bits and pieces of the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album had fans up in arms, many comparing the album to Led Zeppelin III, claiming that the Sabs had gone soft and fancy pants. Spiral Architect was the chief villain, given its drippy psychedelic melody and the obvious amount of seriousness with which the band treated the strings and things pastoral arrangement. 4. Changes. Yeah, this is obviously got to be up high, right? Anything Quiet Sabbath did previous to Changes was funereal, to say the least. And really, this track is still sobbingly sad. Still, it's a relationship song, and there's a detectable rise in elbow grease applied to it over previous tinkly tunes. 30 years hence, Ozzy and his daughter Kelly took an almost touching duet version of this song to the top of the British pop charts. 3. No Stranger to Love. The incongruous Glenn Hughes joins the band. Well, this was supposed to be some sort of Tony solo album, and croons his broken-hearted way through a rote 80s hair band power ballad, even if Tony manages to massage into the thing a few apocalyptic chord sequences. The video in which a lonely Tony looks for love doesn't help assuage the pain that Sabbath, as we knew it, had been slowly chipped to fragments. Number 2, Rock and Roll Doctor. Back to technical ecstasy for a heavy number, yet one that is framed around a churlish stripper boogie. Sabbath party rocking, arguably for the first time in their dour and serious career of doom. And if we didn't get the point that this is a Sabbath yearning for a little happiness, there's honky-tonk keyboard to float your boat. Of note, the track first showed up as an instrumental during the band's tour for Sabotage, and then doesn't really live an out-of-the-closet life until the lubricated and fun-loving Ian Gillan takes a hold of it on tour for his lone record with the band, Born Again. Okay, number 1, what do you think it is? Of course, it's All Right. Technical ecstasy in general trended towards the rock and rollsy away from doom, but It's All Right went way farther than that, emerging as the band's first ballad without a hint of doom, and first with all instruments in meaning, hey, we're serious here. It's a rare Bill Ward penned title track, and Bill even sings it, sort of a Peter, Chris, Beth situation. Apparently, Bill used to sing quite a bit in the early days. Indeed, this very personable Beatle-esque track having been worked up by Bill and Tony as far back as 1972. I had totally forgotten that. I don't even know where I read that. Hopefully it's true. So there you go. The 20 most shockingly radio-friendly Black Sabbath songs. This has been another Contrarian solo show, and based on something I had in a book, which is kind of cool. I like finding these old lists and things we've done. They lend themselves to shows well. You can join our Patreon situation. Check out my audio podcast as well, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. There's a lot of Sabbath related stuff there. 302 episodes at this point. I also do an AC/DC podcast with John Gaffney called Kicked in the Teeth, an AC/DC podcast. And martinpopoff.com for all your book needs. Like I say, I got the 2 Sabbath books and a bunch of other things. The latest one being the Judas Priest album by album. But yeah, Patreon. We've got a Patreon with Contrarians. We've got Ko-Fi. We've got merch. Yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks very much. Go listen to some Sabbath.